Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and welcome back to PCM23 Lions. It's episode 127, and my spidey sense is tingling. Oh, is it tingling? Oh my goodness, there is danger afoot. We are 35th now in the index ranking for the coming season. We are one spot above the bubble. One spot above the bubble. It is insanely close to us being in the World Tour. Like, we are 2/10 of a point from being in the World Tour. That is how insanely close the competition is for spots. Now, half a star behind us puts you down to about 47th, or 3.5 stars, right? We're at like 3.9. But 3.8, human powered health, 3.77 for Session outside. I mean, we're it's crazy that we're 2/10 away from World Tour, and that we're 2/10 away from Continental. Like, it's the same either direction. That's good, but I mean, holy crap, we are close to being out. Fingers crossed. I haven't looked yet. Fingers crossed, big time, that we are cleared out of the 5-star riders left available, and nearly cleared out. There are three left. 3 5-star riders remain. The odds of 2 teams behind us picking them up to eclipse us is incredibly low. The odds that a 4.5-star, which there are plenty of remaining, a good 40 or so, the odds that one of them is enough to be that third wheel to eclipse us when we have a bunch of 4.5-star guys, and the highest one obviously has to be like this much away from 5-star, or at least one would think. Meaning we really do have a proper 5-star average. So it would be a lot for any one of those to take away and see us drop. Not impossible, though, and that is why I've got that tingly spidey sense. Let's get started on La Vuelta. I don't want to take too much time. I'm kind of ready to wrap this season up. Our team for La Vuelta will begin with a team time trial. Very common for La Vuelta. Not every edition has it, but certainly majority do. Janssen already on his +5. Clote already on a +5. Arab at a +2, and no way is that fitness peak going to trigger. He's going to be +2s throughout the race, complicating that a little bit. But Nuna's got a +3, and he's about to begin his fitness peak. Benny Messias has a +2. He should begin his after about a week. Josh De Villiers +2. Hanoch +1. Matoni +1. Everyone's on average motivation. A couple guys are a little unhappy, but following the first day, they'll get those bonuses for being at a Grand Tour, and you'll see this tick up a little bit more, and maybe we'll have even better bonuses. That's already an excellent. Let's see, what is it? Like 21? Unlike the tour, we're not going to participate in every single pivotal stage. We will let the Quick Sim do part of the work through this La Vuelta. Expectations are both lower and higher at the same time, being that the field should not be as deep, therefore we can do better. Support is not as deep, Arab is not as well prepared, therefore we should do worse. Ultimately, expectations being similar. But with a Quick Sim, it could go both better and worse for us on a number of stages, and therefore it's totally up in the air. I think we should be happy with the top 10. If we get it, thrilled with the top 5. Team time trial should be a good boost. That's one area that we tend to do well. It's a 23-kilometer, totally flat team time trial. And then 4, that's a good stage to do. 5, that's a good stage to do. 6, that's a good stage to do. All can happen pretty quickly, and maybe, just maybe, I can squeeze all that into this episode. I don't know. We'll try to see if we can get to the end of stage 6 by the end of it. A lot of those stages are going to come right up to the final kilometers, so it's going to be short components of the larger episode. 8, I'm going to probably bypass that one. 9, yikes, that's the Tourmalet, and holy crap. 10, we could probably bypass. 11, we'll play that one out. So that's a couple stages bypassed. That's hilly? Right. Sure. Sure it is. It finishes on a short little climb, I guess. 14. 15's a big one. It's the Angleroo. Another time trial. Individual on 16, ending with a climb. 17, we'll bypass that punchy mess. And then all of a sudden you skip to 20. Like, the race is already pretty much decided after 16. I'm not sure if I can squeeze that into 3 episodes. I might be able to get it into 4, but let's start racing. Otherwise, that's not going to happen. We are generally not taken very seriously as a team, but we are 6th favorite going into the day with Jumbo Visma, the favorites, and Vingegaard to lead them. Before we set off, let's get a lay of the land so that I can really focus in on this one and maximize what we're doing. There's 2 time checks on the way to the finish line. No team has reached the finish line yet. Just a couple teams have reached the second time check. At the first time check, 6 teams have been there, with Telephone leading the way at 8.5 minutes. So that's kind of our mark here early on. Everybody's within 40 seconds of each other on that one. And our team looks good, but there's a couple concerns. Not everybody's a time trialist for this race, so Benny Messias has a great race day condition, giving him a 76. The distance is 23.2 kilometers. That is nearly a 100% time trial rating, ignoring the prologue rating. It's at 25 kilometers where that occurs. This being close enough, we can just ignore that prologue rating. It's going to have a very minute impact on the ratings. And it's totally flat, so we can really just kind of look at that time trial. Of course, stamina is a slight factor on this one also, but the time trial is going to really set the pace for each rider. So a 76 for Benny. Clote has a 79. De Villiers, he's only 66 base, but he's got a 72, and that's certainly acceptable. Henoch, just a 68, so we've got him set to low participation. He's likely to get dropped at some phase here. Benuna, 82, fantastic. Here's the problem. Arab, he's got the negative race day condition. We don't know how bad that is until he actually sets off, but he's supposed to have a +2, so he's drawn something pretty bad to get that rating. I'm not sure that's a -1. That looks more like a -2. Did not hurt his time trial. He still has a 75, which means he's got good pace regardless. We've got him turned down quite a bit to make sure he does get to the finish line. We do not want to risk him at all, especially with that negative race day condition. Jansen's not a good time trialist, but he's got a 68 today, so he's also going to at least be able to contribute a little bit. And there's our 2 weak links very much identified within the squad, meaning we've got about 6 guys we're going to try to rely on to get us to the finish. And if one drops, as long as it's not Arab, we'll be fine on that one. Matoni has an 80, so looking pretty good on the front. Let's see if we've got the effort level set appropriately. I'm going to target an 88, which is going to be pretty aggressive. We're 90 off the line. Okay, settling in. Let's go ahead and get that to that 88. We do not want to push too hard here. Even an 88 seems like a stretch. I might have to back off a little bit, but I know that it's the kind of effort that can be sustained for some time. So Benny gets things going. Good positions so far. Red bar at 88 is maintained. Henoch's one to watch out for, though, as he's struggling to just maintain the tempo. So we're going to turn this all the way down to nothing. He's just going to do 1 second and then peel out of the way. He can't handle the pace anyway, and I think we're going to just drop him to the back now. He took literally 1 turn. He just does not have the ability to keep up. Now, taking just a second here, let's reflect on where we're at, what adjustments need to be made. Again, trying to talk through this makes it harder to really know the inner workings of what's going on. So I need to take a moment and make sure we are going as hard as we want to or could go. First off, we are fifth, 9 seconds off pace, which means we're right in the mix. We're in a good place after the first time check. We'll go ahead and start looking at what's going on with the second time check. Telephone still leading. Gaps are really starting to stretch more at the second time check. Ratsa is a minute and a half down at this point. Okay, red bar, we've already kind of checked on that. We know Hanok is struggling, but everybody else is hanging in there. What I need to be knowing right now is how are we doing on the yellow bar. That's the one that's going to really impact the finish line. We need to have Arab first off. Arab is, yes, the tempo, like we're just hanging in there, and Arab's taking his turn right now. So we're going to come back and check this after his turn is done, because we need to have at least 5 guys that are still in this thing there at the end. We've got 1, we've got 2, we've got 3, we have 4, and we have 5. So we do have 5 riders, as things stand, that have enough. But Arab is the guy we really need to keep an eye on as he takes a rather short turn. And yes, it was a -2 draw for him. Well, otherwise, I do think we kind of have what's expected for the day. It's just, what can Sammy Arab handle? And in this case, it's just enough. Hanok is not taking turns. Why is he so far up? There he goes. Peeling out of the way. Drop into the back. And actually, red bar fading for him. Tony is okay. Catching up. All right. 9K to go. Checking back in. Red bars. Other than Hanok, everybody's hanging in there. Jansen just went and he just hung in there. He's the other weak link, so I'm okay with how things are going with him. Arab is fine. Arab is fine. So this 88 is good for now. I think we might be able to squeak out an 89 in the final kilometers, but let's not push to that just yet, because that red bar is kind of just hanging on for a number of guys. And there you go. We've moved up. We're now 7th at the first time check instead of 5th, but we've gone from 5th to 4th on the initial, so we are progressing. In fact, we are now closer to Telephone at the top. We're putting in a really good race right now. We've got a very competitive time. Let's go back to the first time check real quick. It's no longer Telephone, it's Jumbo Visma on top. Like I said, we've dropped 2 spots. I think like BMB might be the other one that has bumped us, but that's 21 seconds, and we're all within 10 seconds of the top 2. So Jumbo Visma do look to be the strongest. Expect them to still be there, but we're looking at 5th or 6th now at the second time check, and maybe having that little bit left for an 89 instead of an 88 at the end. Hanok is on his own. Hanok is on his own and struggling. He needs to take his own little relay here, and we'll set him to about an 85 is all he can really maintain. And to that, he's on his own. Jansen. Okay, Jansen is now toast as well, so let's drop him out of the equation. We're at 6, which is what we expected. De Villiers did cook himself a little bit there. He's the other one who's in the 60s for the base. He and Jansen both get dropped, so we are down to 5. So now we've got to start watching that we have enough to get there. It's 2K. Benuna, yeah, we're okay. All right. Now, we're going to take the guys that remain. 1K. We're going to push a 90. Second, 17 seconds at the finish line. That second time check, Jumbo Visma has already crossed. BMB already crossed, so we did bump ahead We moved up 2 spots. We went from 21 seconds down to 27 seconds down. But of course, that timing, right, not counting Jumbo Visma yet. So at the third one, we have moved up further, just 17 seconds behind. So we close in even further. Or did we close in? Let's see. Towards Telephone, we were 10 seconds. And then towards Telephone, National Bing bumped ahead of them. We were 13 seconds. And then at the finish line, we're 17 seconds. So we did drift just fractionally to them, but we moved up ahead relative to everyone else. And now we're looking at, theoretically, yeah, see there's 16 teams by that point. So there's still teams waiting on that second check. But Jumbo Visma, National Bing are the ones to now kind of watch out for. Bahrain Victorious, Kachua, we're ahead of them, and Bahrain Victorious, and Sudal. Like, we've moved ahead of quite a few teams. So really good job on that one. And we got our key guy, Arab, to the finish, even though he was on a -2 today. And there's going to be National Bing goes 1 second ahead of Telephone. Here's BMB. BMB coming. Oh, they are a mess here on the way to the finish. They're going to lose a bunch of time. Lost. Yeah, their key guys had to hold up. And they end up way down in 8th, a minute behind, so they did not handle it. Here's Jumbo Visma. Here's your favorites. Only 4 riders. The 5th one, they lost a little time as well, but they still go top. So they did lose 4, 5, 6 seconds. More Jumbo Visma riders on the way. Okay, who do we have here? This is Tudor. They are 9th, a minute down. Looking good for us as we hang on to 4th place right now. 4th place. Very competitive time, though it is half a minute down on Jumbo Visma. They have a big head start in this race, but otherwise I think we've done incredibly well for this one. That's only 3 riders. There is a new 4th place, literally on the same time. Faustina crosses the line, and where were they in the mix? They were all the way down at 11th at the first time check. How did they pull that off? 9th. I have no idea how they lost only 2 seconds across the second to third phase. Only 4 riders present. They are missing their 5th. He is way down here. That's going to be a huge loss for Placo Smith. Meanwhile, Mark Hershey, movie star, is moving up to the 5th spot. They're having a little bit of a mess at the end, and they're well down on time. They were already just 16th, and they stay 16th. And there is Placo Smith, 15th, minute 29. That was their 5th rider, but okay, fine. Maybe that was their 6th rider, because they had already crossed the line at a minute 29, apparently. La Gruppetto, number 1 in the rankings on the year so far, are going to be well down. Last place, 252. That just dismantled their race entirely. Intermarché. This has got to be about the last team here. Split SE coming in together, coming in strong, but they were 17th at the second time check. They actually dropped their riders right at the end, too, to make it worse. Minute 44 down for them. And this is making us look better and better and better with each passing team. Here's the last rider on the road. So Jumbo Visma does take the win, and they've got a nice little healthy advantage, and it puts the pressure on them right away. They've got Vingegaard, so they're going to be a heavy favorite, as is for this race. But they've got to be in the driver's seat from day one, and we're in a comfortable position that not many teams were able to get into. Really satisfied with that, considering the lack of overall, like, we pushed about as hard as can be pushed. We might have been able to squeak out that 89, but it was a real threat, and the threat was Arab, right? We can only go as hard as Arab can go. He was the 5th guy, and while there was 4 guys that were looking good and looking strong and like they could have kept going, you got to get 5 across that line. We dropped the 6th, we dropped the 7th, we dropped the 8th, and Arab was that next guy. And Arab had a little bit left. So like, we really could have gotten a few more seconds out of what we did if I really pushed from the off, but I was afraid. I was nervous about how Arab could handle it. And he was pretty close to at its limit at the end there. So team time trials are the hardest thing to do in this game. And while that was not 100% perfect, that was certainly a solid like 97 on that one, and I'll take that. I'll take that. Like I said, I think a few seconds was about all we could muster beyond that, which would have bumped us ahead of, a lot of Destiny and Faustina, but it still would have had us right about where we're at now. Now, taking a look at just the first few challengers before we move on. Arts, he's got the 81. Vingegaard has the 83 mountain, and Glog has an 80 mountain. So Jumbo Visma have 3 key guys and Marco Brenner to support. Brenner already 341 down. Vingegaard lost 6 seconds. They're taking the time of the top 4, so they are taking just the top 4 these days, not top 5. But for us, Arab would have been... Wait, was Arab 5th to cross the line? Oh man, we got to watch out for that now. So big thing there is Vingegaard lost 6 seconds, so he's not even necessarily on the same time of everybody else. National Bing, they have Martinez, who's still 80 these days. Carlos Rodriguez is an 81-83 and probably their leader. Gegenhardt 79, Sivakov 79. So they've got 4 strong in their climbers. Telephone, Stalker's an 80. Bardet is a 79. Buitrago is a 76. So they actually look a bit on the weak side. They're going to have a difficult time competing for a top 10. A lot of Destiny. Van Eetvelt is the only one who looks at all dangerous and generally does not look dangerous. So we're really looking at Jumbo Visma National Being getting off to the quick start, and that's it. And then same time as us, literal same time as us at 34 seconds. Soler, just a 76-77 these days. He's 36 now. Petrovic, big threat right there. 80, 81, 81. And in that +4 and 82 stamina that he has, super dangerous, but only a 69 time trial individually. So they helped drag him along to get a good time. And he will largely be solo most of the time. He's got very little support in that team. I mean, like Ben Healy's only a 70 mountain these days, and Honore is a 76. Arab lost 2 seconds. He was the 5th to cross the line. So he lost just 2 seconds, so he's 36 seconds down, which means he's half a minute behind Vingegaard already after one stage, but in a great position compared to other teams. Urteas here has signed with Austrian side MTK. They are currently Continental Pro team. Coming up on the end of stage number 4, we've got 2 climbs left to get through here, and they're both pretty steep, but they're both pretty short. So it is a medium mountain type stage. Benio Messias already just running out of energy. Matoni is about to run out of energy. Peloton's already down to just 89 riders, and we just caught the last 2 riders in today's small breakaway of originally 3. Benio Messias out the back. Matoni's about to go out the back. And the group is small, so you really can't afford to be sitting up, and our probably 83 is not cutting it right now. So let's up that to an 87. 2.8k to go on this climb. De Villiers is nearly done, so gel for him. Hanouk is not going to last much longer. Let's gel for him. We'll have 4 guys left for the final climb from the looks of it, though Hanouk might just make it through this one and give us a little bit of support there. Down to 67 now in the group. Arab, great draw today, +5 for him, so it's a +4 draw, if not a +5 draw, so that's fantastic. And we're seeing 1 rider attack right there at the top going for it. Ayuso. Now 54 remain, and Hanouk did just make it over the top, so he will be our lead-out man going into that final climb. We're already just 11k left in the stage, and with really good, strong conditions for 4 guys plus Hinoke to offer a little additional support. This is looking really good. And I mean, you're looking at Solaire already out the back. These guys are in contact. Really, these 10 or so riders are barely hanging on at the back end, and then you get up to Clote. Clote is actually the best chance of victory today. Well, he'll be leading out Arab anyway. And onto the climb. 6K to go. Yeah, let's set this thing up now. It's only 6.5K. We'll start with about a 92. Janssen is not punchy. He's got great medium mountain though, so that's going to put him into that middle territory. And Hinoke, just set a 90 because he is not a puncher, but he is very good medium mountain, and he'll get us through this early phase. Not hurting too bad. 51, chasing 1. Nearly ended up with separation there. Hinoke backing off a little bit for this last phase. We've got the position down to 43 and down to 4.4K. Benuna will take over in a moment. Hinoke is done. Okay, Benuna can push that little bit harder. You got some guys at the front now. Getting into this later phase of this thing. Benuna, oh, what happened, Janssen? Come on, Janssen. Janssen lost the wheel of Benuna. Benuna out of red bar, but we are a little bit adrift of where we should be at this point. 2.6. Gel for Arab. Janssen playing catch up now. Give me a 99 Benuna. Janssen fully on the wheel. Clote, Arab are there, so that's good. We're down to 17 chasing 2. 1.5K, so it's time to try to get out of the wheel and move forward with somebody who's not punchy. This is our medium mountain guy who helped. I think that's how he lost the wheel, was he was just that little bit down. This is already into the final. Came up on me too fast. Janssen losing that position. I thought the medium mountain would be what we needed there. It looks like we needed him to have a little bit the punchiness. So I went backwards with Benuna and Janssen, and that cost us. Clote barely made it. Arab was good. He had more in the tank, and we just didn't get it out of him. So my bad on the selection, and that's what caused that separation. It was that sudden acceleration that hurt Janssen. He covered it back because he had a good medium mountain when things lifted a little bit, but it put us a little behind those guys, and we weren't able to recover from that. We lose a few seconds. 18 seconds lost in that secondary group. That does hurt a little bit, but GC already big shakeup. Martinez in the lead ahead of Carlos Rodriguez, his teammate, on same time. Vingegaard is third. He lost that 18 seconds, so actually for him it works out perfectly. It's ideal. Petrovic, Decathlon shouldn't be around for too long. Same with Van Eetvelt. Today was a day where that medium mountain gets you there, as we saw, at least gets you there in the second group. Stalker Vlasov is around, and then we have our big influx of guys at 9, 10, and 11. Janssen also there, and you're already seeing significant drop-offs. Arts loses time. That's a strong rider who went too deep for Jumbo-Visma, so that's one of their key guys losing time. Fortunato here. Bagioli is not going to be a threat. Pellizzari is going to be a threat. He moves up 82 spots, but he's a minute 15 down because Movistar didn't do well on that first stage. Ayuso, Wells, Roner, Howler, yeah. Not too many contenders around. This is definitely a thinner field. No Pogacar, no Evenepoel. A lot of big-time racers not here. Could be a good performance for us, and I think I would have been happier not to lose that time, obviously. Not ideal. It's my bad. But as much as I wanted to get through 4 stages, well, technically we did. That was stage 4, but I wanted to race 4 stages, but taking that team time trial very seriously took a while. It did take a while. So that's going to do it for this episode. We'll continue pushing right on through La Vuelta as fast as I can, cutting in straight to the tail end of stages and whatnot, quick simming some of the stages along the way. So we're going to take our chances on a few things. But Arab, he's 11th, 39 seconds down, and there's still a good half a dozen, well, not half, there's about 5 guys ahead of us that are not GC guys. That means I'd say on balance we're about 6th overall at the moment. So it's a fairly good start, but not perfect. It's a good start. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.